is it?
Hey guys, so some of us precious metal stackers will add special effects to our videos, like shiny sparkles, to enhance the effect silver and gold give off. With this precious metal, osmium, there are no special effects needed. Watch as we catch the sun come out and the light bounces off the osmium. It appears to be raining sparkles coming up.
Something went wrong. Come on, you were working yesterday.
That's just like you say. If it pops out a constellation at whatever angle.
Exactly, whatever angle. It's I mean
that back in that light a little bit. Yeah, there you go. That would make checking time fun every time. So sparkle grade, you're saying?
Sparkle grade is representative of the size of the crystals.
Okay.
So the longer the crystallization process goes on, the bigger the crystals get, and the piece gets thicker. Because you can see at the moment, that's the thickness.
Okay.
But it starts from 0 as the crystallization forms. So they rate the sparkle grade from 2 to 5.
Okay.
So that would determine the application, depending on what you want to make from the piece. If you're setting it with other gemstones and you want it as more of a background, you might choose a finer crystallization.
I see.
Or if you want to have cut a very delicate shape, because the advantage of this is you can cut it with an electrical discharge machine, which is a very high voltage passed through a very fine wire, finer than a human hair, and it sucks the metal away atom by atom without even touching either side of the cut. So you can cut intricate shapes.
Wow.
And we can get one out the window if you want to have a look at one. Okay,
and so the actual size, the clarity, the reflectiveness, that's gonna make the difference on what it's used for. The longer it grows, the bigger
the crystals and the coarser the sparkle. If that sort of makes sense. Yeah.
And the coarser the sparkle is, and that's considered less fine, or would it be more fine?
Less fine. It's a coarser crystal. So
right, so it's less fine. Okay, I'm just making sure I got that.
Yeah. Right. So it's a higher sparkle grade.
What are we doing here? You're grabbing a QR code off there.
Yeah, so each piece comes with a QR code. If you can get that to pull up. And that
brought up that
so
piece.
Every piece they cut, once they're happy with the quality, they take medium resolution 2D pictures.
Okay.
And then they do this scan here as well. And what this does, this authenticates your piece by visual appearance.
So it has its own unique
It's got a pattern on there that will never repeat. And as we said earlier, every square millimeter has 10,000 more recognition points than a human fingerprint.
Can't be duplicated.
Can't be duplicated. It can't be duplicated from appearance, and it can't be duplicated because there's nothing as dense.
Wow.
And so each piece has its cipher code, and then it has a description. So that's medium edged bar, shaped, bespoke, drop. That's the weight, 0.149 grams. And that tells you the main dimensions, average thickness, and the sparkle grade.
And the sparkle grade, that's what I was
saying. So yeah, that's sparkle grade 2.
What are the sparkle grades, is it?
So the higher the number, the coarser the crystal surfaces. Okay, and the smaller the number, the finer the...
Do they have a set high and a low, like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10?
2 to 5.
2 to 5, gotcha. And so let's get that price on there. What was the price on that?
So that's the current, today's price in euros.
Okay,
so in dollars, that is, so we got 225.5 times 1.07. So that's around $242.
So,
but you get a fair surface area. Let's pop it out. And the sun has gone in, so we won't be able to get that to sparkle as much in sunlight. But that might be able to get a better shot.
Yep, we got it. That's good. Here's sparkling. So that's 0.149 at about $250. And that'd make, like we were saying, that's a beautiful earring. You could get a set of earrings for $500 or thereabouts and be very stunning.
Lots of sparkle for your dollars.
Lots of sparkle, no doubt.
And yeah, it's way more reflective than diamond. Diamonds refract the light, so the light goes in, gets split, comes back out at different angles. This reflects the sunlight straight back at you. Pretty well,
okay.
All of the sunlight that hits that, especially the blue wavelength, that's why you see this blue, silvery blue effect. And it's pure precious metal.
Awesome. So this piece of osmium here was, did you say 52 grams?
52 grams, so around $73,000.
$73,000. Can you, just move that a little bit in the light so people can, oh my goodness.
And for the camera, that's actual sunlight coming through the window hitting that. So it actually got named the sunshine element in the US.
I can see why. My goodness. That is crazy. Beautiful. And this is featured here with Bitcoin and Ethereum. What's going on with this right up here?
Yeah, that's an author was just talking about the similarities. So every square millimeter on here, so a bit bigger than a pen, the point of a pen. Any piece just with a 2D moderate resolution picture will have 10,000 times more recognition points than your fingerprint.
Goodness.
So it's inbuilt code, or every piece you look at. And even on a bigger scale, you can see, you can learn your piece, you'll see a constellation, so at a certain angle, certain light, you'll see a unique
certain
pattern.
Imagery, sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the comparison to blockchain is that uniqueness, that coding, but more importantly is absolute scarcity, with practically around 25 tons of the raw osmium to work with, but is ethically sourced. It's a dangerous metal to refine, a dangerous metal to mine, because it reacts with oxygen and forms toxic compounds. So the Osmium Institute are very careful who they buy from to know that nobody died mining.
All right, hi, I'm here with Ian of ARK Silver Gold Osmium, and I'm gonna ask him a few questions here. And so let's start off. This is kind of a two-part question, but related. So when did you get into precious metals, and was it that it was pretty and shiny, or what got you into silver and gold? Was it the monetary system, or was it that you just liked gold and silver?
The monetary system,
Yep.
just learning about fiat currencies, central banks, the bank of central banks, which is really three key, and even mainstream financial people never even heard of the Bank of International Settlements, let alone know what they do, or why they do it.
Right. Yeah. So again, with me, it's kind of the same way. You were looking at the monetary system, and is to find a way out kind of led you to gold and silver. It wasn't that you found gold and silver to be shiny and then you wanted it to be valuable.
I mean, silver is beautiful for sure.
Yeah.
I think on appearance, I would choose silver over gold for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost the most reflective metal. There is something that's even shinier than silver.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, up until recently, it was known as the most reflective, right?
Yeah, the most reflective,
conductive,
the highest electrical conductive, and the highest thermal conductor.
That's right, that's right.
So that has many uses. That thermal conductivity is crucial for a lot of equipment now.
Indeed, indeed. And so what led you to open up a precious metals store?
So I think it was around 2017, pretty well as soon as I found out about central banks and fiat currencies and lack of most people's ability to preserve purchasing power over decades. I've always been a long-term thinker. I started buying houses as an investment, not to make a quick buck. In fact, year on year they probably cost a little bit, but to provide when I'm 70 or 80 years old.
Yep.
So, you know, yeah, we all like to live in the now, and we should, but I've always been a long-term contemplating, well, what am I going to do in 20, 30 years?
Yeah.
And the simple proposition of silver is if you work 5 days and you get paid 5 days, whatever your labor is worth or whatever you get paid for it, and you need to spend 4 of them, well, what do you do with that 5th day? Where do you put it? That it can't get stolen from you, it can't get debased, can't get taxed, all of these things. And I kept coming to a conclusion, silver. It was so easy because it's so undervalued.
Yep. Because not a lot of downside, but possibility for a lot of upside.
A lot of upside, yeah.
I agree. Okay, and why Jackson Hole? How did you end up here? What led you here?
So we immigrated to, my wife and myself immigrated to Idaho in 2019.
Okay.
And we live just over the border from Jackson, so it's considered as the same sort of community, really. A lot of people who work here live in Teton Valley, Idaho.
Commute over there.
Yeah, so it's a very much connected economy. A friend of mine had a gym in the store here, and I just had, I don't know, just a gut feeling it was time to open a store. And that sort of links back into the metal. I've discovered that's shinier than silver as well. It ties back in very much of that, which we'll talk about in a bit.
Yeah. All right, cool. How did you come up with the name ARK?
Whoa, it was just there. To be honest, I think just God gave me that. Just downloaded it. It was just there.
Just kind of as a means to carry you through the storm type of thing, or is there?
Well, obviously, with the story of the ARK in the Bible,
yeah.
I mean, it took Noah 100 years to build it. It was to preserve his family through the storm that was coming. God said the heavens were going to open and it was going to rain. Well, they'd never seen rain. So Noah spent 100 years building this ARK to preserve life.
Right.
So yeah, it fits very much with that. We're in a financial storm. Whether we're in the eye of it, it just feels a bit calm at the moment. So much is happening so rapidly. I mean, you just look at all the things the Federal Reserve are doing, and their 3 or 4 letter anachronisms for all of the different plans for their so-called toolbox to fix everything.
Yeah.
You know, they're fiddling away at this. So, our ARK just comes, you know, in our logo. It's got that cup to support, and it's got a roof.
Yeah, I like it. It works well. It's very nice. All right, and then so I think most people would probably agree gold is kind of reasserting itself as a safety for the banking system, monetarily speaking. Gold, I think a lot of people would agree, is kind of reinserting itself as that base monetary element that you can trust. It's been moved into a tier 1 asset by the BIS a few years ago. So I guess my question here is, do you think if the monetary system continues at this rate of decline, that people will wake up to silver as a form of wealth preservation, thus adding to the silver deficit that already is existing?
Most people can't wake up, or if they did wake up, there wouldn't be any silver to buy, because with the tens or hundreds of trillions of dollars of perceived wealth, whereas the whole annual silver industry is 22 billion dollars, it doesn't fit. So silver would have broke 3 and it'll be in the hundreds of dollars, when people think I need silver. I mean, they'll be too scared to buy it because I remember last week it was 25. Well, it will stair step, and that will be the greatest confiscation because people will think, well, and if you look at the pattern going back, if you sort of try back test what we're sort of talking about, silver doesn't work. If you bought it in 1980 at $50,
right, you
would have been better buying $50 of the stock exchange,
for sure,
or $50 of almost anything.
For sure.
So, but that doesn't predict what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah.
What does predict what's going to happen in the future is the move of the precious metals. Throughout history, they give a sudden and rapid accounting for the currency debasement. We have never had worldwide synchronized currency debasement. Yeah. No meaningfully large country has been fiscally responsible, apart from maybe Russia. Now Russia's got their own self-imposed problems, or what was going on there, which they may or may not recover from. But apart from Russia, every other country has been creating their currency units recklessly.
Yeah.
And if you think it's been bad, what we've done with the dollar, China's done 3 to 5 times as much reckless currency debasement. And we've got away with it in the dollar because only a small percentage of dollars are actually in the US. So we merrily do our debasement, and it's spread over a much bigger pool of dollars.
Right.
So it's a slower effect.
Yeah.
And our currency will be the last one to really rapidly decline.
Yeah.
And you get the warnings. We had the Weimar Republic. We had 2 massive financial crises in French history, only 70 years apart. And then you've got more recently Zimbabwe, and then we had, it was in the 90s, the Russian 10 times devaluation. You've got what's going on in Turkey, what's their inflation. And when you hear the word inflation, think it's largely related to currency debasement. So Turkish inflation is 163%. Britain, we were around 20% year on year. You start compounding that. The fiat currencies haven't got long, and I think this time round it's going to be a whole roller coaster, but it's one train. It's one train of cars on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the US might be going up a little bit at the moment, apparently, but it's still connected to all the other currencies that are just plummeting.
Right.
It'll be our turn.
Yeah.
I want to be ready. I don't care if I'm ready 10 years before.
Sure, no doubt.
I want to be ready.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. All right. So, speaking of the availability in precious metals or lack thereof, ARK has become the first and only retailer in North America to sell osmium.
Vapor crystallized osmium.
Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Okay, so osmium is the 8th and final precious metal. It's 76 on the periodic table. It's the densest element, so you can't forge it by substitution because you won't reach the density. It's the rarest. If you mine the whole Earth till there's nothing left, the figures vary, but estimates vary between 7 and 14 cubic meters. And it weighs nearly 23 tons a cubic meter. But if the ethically produced osmium that's produced and refined without poisoning or killing people will probably have 25 tons in the current sort of time period to work with.
And that's about 1 cubic meter, did I hear?
1 cubic meter, so less than the volume of this desk.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's so dense. What was the weight on that roughly?
23 tons a cubic meter, just under.
23 tons a cubic meter. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So yeah, you said it was the most dense non-radioactive, right?
Element.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something more dense radioactive.
Yeah, so you get isotopes
okay.
of elements that you can make by whatever the scientists and physicists do. You can get isotopes of different elements, but incredibly rare. You're making a fraction of a fraction of a fraction, a millionth of a gram, and it'll only exist for a certain period because it's so radioactive. But it's the only stable.
Stable isotope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's sold by the gram.
Sold by the gram. It's priced in grams, yeah.
And did you say something too about the size difference and the clarity, or is there differences in the quality of osmium, or what was that you were telling me a little bit about?
So osmium is predominantly recovered as a byproduct from platinum mining in South Africa, in Russia and Canada. So to get a few grams of osmium, you need to mine 150,000, sorry, you have to mine 10,000 tons of rock in search of platinum. That costs around $150 a ton. So it costs about $1.5 million to mine 10,000 tons of platinum ore. And when you mine that, you'll get enough to make something like that watch face.
Wow. Yeah, wow.
So if you were mining osmium on its own...
Let me zoom in on that a bit here while you got it. Yeah, that's beautiful.
To mine osmium on its own, it would cost you about $1.5 million to get enough raw osmium to make this. Then there's a journey to get it into this crystalline form. So Swiss scientists set out on a journey over 40 years ago to vapor crystallize it. Because osmium, as though it's the scarcest element, hasn't really got a high value in its raw metallic form.
Unknown
in its
really
raw.
too, right?
It's
like,
toxic.
Okay.
It reacts with oxygen. So even in the sintered cubes and beads that you can buy, you leave that out in the air, it will form osmium tetraoxide. If you breathe that in, it will damage your lungs.
Okay.
Amongst other health issues. It's not a safe thing to keep outside of laboratory conditions, or keep it in sealed glass vials or in oil.
Before it's been crystallized.
Before, yeah.
Okay.
So the crystallization process is it's a practical, it's a natural monopoly. So this scientists spent 40 years developing the process. The first stage is to refine the osmium into an incredible level of purity. So sort of 99 fine, beyond almost levels that can actually even be measured, almost scrubbing it on an atomic level.
Wow.
So not an easy process to get it that pure, because whatever equipment or whatever environment you have in will instantly try and contaminate it. Just so, if they don't get it to that high level of purity, you can't get an even crystallization.
Oh, wow.
It's a 160-step process. And one of the processes, they have to heat it to over 9,000 Fahrenheit to get it into a stable vapor. And then they worked out how to crystallize it into these incredibly even sheets.
And you're saying that that's one piece of metal?
It's still pure osmium. It's 9, I think this is 59.5 fine.
Wow.
Obviously, if you just touch it, you're going to start losing some of that purity, and unless you cleaned it. It's the most inert anything. There isn't anything, there's no element or compound that is more inert. This is more inert than diamond. It's also more abrasive than diamond. Wow. It's not quite as hard, it's very close to the hardness of diamonds. And the crystallization structure, it's layers of near perfect hexagonal mirrors. So when you look at it under a microscope, it's just, it's fascinating like this,
right
just in
there,
the sunlight
no
we've got here.
But you can see when it's up close, it does have little formations on there, little, are they, well, there's some that are kind of square, and there's almost different shapes within it, right? Kind of.
It's, yeah. So yeah, but basically it's the actual surface looks like a coarse aluminum oxide abrasive paper. Yeah, so,
okay.
Yeah. But it's durable. It doesn't
flake off. That's
it's solid. It's just pure metal, but in a beautiful form. So the process is often described as a similar process to making diamonds, except this is a lot harder to make than diamonds. And one of the big difference is diamonds are made from carbon, and we're never going to run out of carbon. It's the 5th most common element on Earth. So if somebody wants to set up as a diamond manufacturer, you're not going to have a problem sourcing the carbon. If you want to set up as a manufacturer of this, there's a very, very finite of the raw osmium metal.
Wow. Amazing. Okay, and so far, and this is fairly new as far as you say the scientist has spent 40 years refining his method, and he's come up with this in what, the last 10 years, 15 years?
So the Osmium Institute has just celebrated its first decade.
Okay.
So Ingo Wolf founded it after meeting the scientist, hearing his story, seeing what he'd managed to do. He realized that if you can create a demand for the most rare anything, and this is the rarest element, and it's a precious metal. So Ingo had a history in trading precious metals, so he understood the importance of that. So you take something that is proven to be the rarest element, turn it into a beautiful form, create desire for it, create a market for it, the price action is going to be favorable.
Indeed. Indeed, and so far, like I see you have, and I'll show some pictures of this, a beautiful violin that was made and put on tour kind of as an introduction to osmium, right?
Yeah, two German entrepreneurs commissioned one of the world's finest lutherians, that's somebody who makes string instruments, to create the osmium violin, just to showcase the fusion of the precious metal, the rarity, the beauty, fine art and music.
Nice.
So it was an incredible endeavor. It took Edgar Roos 32 months to make the violin.
Wow. Awesome. And then so this being so rare and so finite that and so beautiful that it's probably mostly going to be a type of investment or jewelry / investment down this type of line.
I mean, here in the US we're way behind. I mean, they've been selling this for many years in Europe.
Okay.
So they've already building a demand in the high-end jewelry, the luxury end. Doesn't have to be restricted to the really wealthy people. You can still buy a small piece of osmium for under $200. But yes, so this was what Ingo foresaw. If you make it into something beautiful, it's going to get locked up and stay in that form. And when a Swiss watch manufacturer makes a beautiful watch, that's staying as a watch.
Yeah.
It's never going to get melted down and turned into the raw osmium again and reprocessed. Same with the jewelry. The violin will go into a billionaire's collection somewhere.
Sure,
it's staying as is.
Right.
That osmium is never coming back onto the market.
And it has a unique fingerprint to each piece.
I mean, that's bigger than, see the hole that the pen comes through. That's smaller than a square. That's bigger than a square millimeter.
Okay.
So if you look at it anywhere on here, any square millimeter on there has 10,000 more recognition points than the human fingerprint.
Ooh.
And that's not even using high resolution pictures. If you zoomed in on it, it's got endless code that never repeats, as unique. Every tiny piece of that is as unique as a snowflake. Yet it's permanent. I mean, this will be the last thing to cease to exist, because there's no acid or alkali or mix of acid and alkali that will touch it.
Really?
You can't make any chemical that will eat it up or dissolve it.
Yeah.
It's the most inert anything.
Wow, that's just an amazing product right there. And so far, you guys are the only North American dealer.
We had a journey. We had several interviews. Ingo Wolf visited. The owner of the company, Scarlett Klaus, the vice director, visited several times. She's helped us get established. Nice. So yeah, we are the first US retailer.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. An amazing product. I'm very intrigued by it for sure. Okay, so since you've been opened up here, have you noticed any products stand out to you as kind of a favorite amongst the gold and silver community? Or anything popped out at you like that?
The traditional mint coins, eagles, now they're becoming in the realm of affordable, around a $4.50 premium. Now it makes sense. Yes, eagles have been popular.
They've been coming
Maples, Britannias. Yeah, those
sovereigns, coins.
Those are the free sovereigns. I mean, we sold Krugerrands and Philharmonics and then Kangaroos and the Armenian Noah's Arks. But yeah, those are the sort of main coins.
Main sovereigns, okay. Yeah. Do you deal much in bullion rounds? Like I know you have some unique products here we'll get into in a minute, but do you deal mostly in coins or rounds, or it really doesn't matter for you, whatever the person's looking for, obviously, but where is your...
Yeah, I mean, we're still learning. We've been in business nearly 3.5 years. Is there any patterns? Yeah, I wouldn't say so. We move with the market. We'll help suggest to people what product to buy. You know, when premiums are really high, don't buy Eagles.
Yeah.
Don't buy Eagles. And then when the premiums close, if you can get a sovereign coin for 60, 70 cents more than a round, buy a sovereign coin.
That's what I do too, yep.
When it opens up to $1, if you've got plenty of sovereign coins and you haven't got many rounds, get some rounds.
There you go.
And that way you're diversifying in the product type. You're hopefully buying it when the premiums are competitive on that product. Gives you more options when you sell. Sure. You can sell to the market that is convenient for you to sell to, because you've got a range of products to sell into the different demands.
Makes sense. I agree. All right, sounds good.
We have sold a lot of 1,000-ounce bars. We were promoting them at a time when the so-called industry experts were saying, "Oh, retail, you don't want to buy 1,000-ounce bars. If you're going to put them back onto the COMEX, they have to be melted down and reassayed." We started doing the 1,000-ounce bars because we had large buyers who wanted to buy large quantities of silver and store it for decades to give to their grandchildren.
Nice.
They wanted to skip the idiot children who were going to destroy the family's wealth. Wow, yeah. And it was the obvious way to get the lowest premium. You're getting more ounces.
You bet.
Because as silver multiplies in purchasing power, the premiums are not going to multiply in purchasing power, except for a field in the historic numismatic.
Right.
That's an exception, because the bulk of the value in that is the historical numismatic value. Yeah.
Okay, good. We're gonna pull out some COMEX silver bar slices I want to look at here in a minute. But I seen you had some ARK bars as well.
Yeah.
Were those 10 ounces, or you have?
We have a 2 ounce and a 10 ounce.
2 ounce and a 10 ounce.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also, I've heard, are planning on getting into the COMEX slice bar area. So right now with your ARK bars, how are you coming across those?
So the ARK bars are made from COMEX bars by the manufacturing division of Silverback Precious Metals in Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And I was going to ask you, as far as doing orders with you, how would you prefer people do orders, business with you? Do you have kind of an outline that you like to follow, or how would people go about purchasing?
Well, I'm a people person, so whilst we have the capacity, I love talking to people. I want to find out their reasons for buying, what sort of range of products they've got at present, so how a potential purchase could enhance that collection and bring further value and further flexibility when they come to sell.
Yeah, nice. Sounds good. All right. Just kind of one last thing here. What would you like people to know about your shop that I haven't asked yet?
Oh wow! I mean, this is the first time I've ever done retail. I was in construction 40 years before I moved into precious metals. So I've worked on a lot of stores for people. I fitted out, done shop fitting. So I love people coming in and just talking about silver and the financial situation.
Awesome.
Yeah. I want this place to be just a friendly place where people can just come in and. A lot of people can't talk even to their wives or their husbands about it, or their children.
Sure.
A lot of people's children don't get it. They think you're wacko. You know, I think it's quite
know
reassuring. But there's people from all walks of life, and for whatever reason, they've been guided to put a large percentage of their wealth into precious metals.
Yeah.
and it's great to meet like-minded people.
For sure.
So I think that's what I enjoy most about the shop. Yeah.
Nice. And yeah, I know you were talking to me a little bit about this earlier, where you were saying, you know, you try to, especially if you have a customer who you've been selling to, and he brings something back to you for resale, you treat them very well and aren't lowballing them way underneath spot like a lot of companies.
No, I feel a personal responsibility to do whatever we can to help them sell it, to get back as much as the premium, if not all of the premium as possible. We've managed to do that on a few occasions. Very few people have been reselling, but sometimes circumstances change and you have to sell a bit.
You don't want to,
yeah, you know, I mean, it's like we've already made a small margin on the original sale. So what we managed to do so far, with our knowledge of our client base, we'll think, yeah, I think so-and-so, that they'll probably be interested in that. We put together a deal so they can buy it below retail, and then the person who's selling can sell above wholesale.
Nice.
Whereas the traditional system is spot or spot minus, and I think that sucks.
Yeah, it does, especially when premiums are way high. Yeah, and then suddenly you're going to get lowballed underneath spots. So yeah, as a customer, I myself know how that goes, and it's odd to be, when you're buying at a high premium over, and then when you go to sell,
there's no premium.
Suddenly all of a sudden.
And not only that, there's this weird bid-ask thing. So spot is lower as well. So a lot of the industry has two spots. If you're buying, it's high, and if you're selling to us, it's low. So they're taking another cut.
No, that's good. That's good to hear. All right, Ian. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna pull out a few bars here. We'll pull up some close shots of those before I get out of here. But I thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and answer some of these questions.
You're welcome.
Being popular, I mean, I like them.
I think they're fun to have one in your collection.
Where
these are going to kick in is when premiums blow out again, because it's a fixed premium on these.
So that's what I was blown away by the price I was able to get mine at. I mean, these are, to me, this is a piece of history. It is.
Yeah.
There's several things going for these. I mean, I can never get a hold of an actual Comex bar at 1,000 ounces, so
yet
I just see these appealing to lots of people like me who would love to have a piece of Comex bar. And he stamps a little different image on all these too, didn't he?
Yeah, there's 5 stamps, I think.
Okay. Yeah, tell me a little bit of backstory on this piece here. So this is a Comex slice.
Yeah.
And these numbers up here, so this SBP, and that's silverback precious metals. And 23 is the year, so 2023, this one was cut. This came from bar number 122 as we're pulled off the Comex.
Yeah.
And this would be slice number 9.
Piece number 9 made from that bar.
122. Yeah. And it's 14.42 ounces Troy of 3/9 fine AG. This one happened to have a gas pocket forming the 1,000 ounce bar, which I find quite cool. You can see
it's got some crystallization going on there, hasn't it? Bit of silver vapor crystallization.
There you go. That's very cool. Very unique pieces. So what other products do they have?
So pretty immediately they realise, oh my gosh, we're making all this silver shavings. These are sawn on a horizontal bandsaw with a reasonably wide blade, so you get a lot of silver.
Sure.
So straight away they started making these hand poured 10 ounce rounds.
So this is shavings from the Comex bar, and like you say, this one here even has stamped it came from the fourth
bar process.
Bar. So that is very cool. And these are probably not available. This is probably a personal piece that you got. But what
they do a vacuum cast 10 ounce round, which still has a very similar surface appearance.
Okay.
Yeah, you get that lovely sort of like a baked bread crust look. Yeah.
Nice. So you can, if they gave you a call, you might be able to purchase some hand poured silverback precious metals pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And what else? It looks like they have an actual stamped round as well.
Yeah. I have a Take Your Silverback 1 ounce round.
Okay.
The sculptural details beautiful on the griller. It was a British sculptor who did the design for that. So
yeah,
unusual for a round to be that crisp.
That is nice.
It's near reverse proof with the really mirror finish field on the coin.
Yeah. Okay, so those are 3 different items by Silverback Precious Metal. Looks like we got another silverback gorilla there with a piece of silver in his hand, or his paw. What would you call that? All right, nice one. So this comes in 1 troy ounce or 5 troy ounces as well. Do they keep going? 5s are their high mark?
I wish they would, but maybe they'll do a 10. Yeah.
Okay, so far we've got these going on. 5s and 1s. Very pretty, nice. All right. Okay, and this is what? This looks like a pour, more like.
That's a vacuum cast.
Oh, okay, this is the vacuum.
Yeah, but it has the appearance of a hand pour. That's a vacuum cast 10 ounce silverback bar.
Nice.
Serialized as well.
Serialized too, okay.
Yeah, the same sequence.
Just a flat back, normal back. Cool. And then these caught my eye right away. I really like these. 10 ounce ARK bar, and you have silver gold osmium on there. All right, nice. And you have these marked as well. So what's going on there?
It's the same indexing system.
And this is the 2 ouncer. Okay, wow, that's cool. So is that your 2 sizes you're running right now? 2 ounce and
yes,
10
2
ounce?
and 10. Yeah.
Okay.
These 2s have been very popular, and they're a very unique shape.
That is.
So the curved corners,
Yeah.
it's the surface tension sucks the molten silver away from the corners of the mold.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, yeah, that's cool.
So they look very liquid.
Very nice. And all right, we're gonna do a quick unboxing here of some Noah's Ark 1/4 ounce coins, actually, right? These are coins.
These are coins.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got. Okay. Oh, you go ahead.
Yeah, you tell me when you're ready.
No, I'm ready.
Okay.
And they come in a nice wooden crate, and that's like that for the 1 ouncers as well.
Same for if you buy 500, but if you want a monster box and you don't want to run a 500 ounces, you can get 500 1/4 ounce.
500 1/4 ounce, which comes out to whatever it comes out to.
Isn't it terrible? My maths teacher would be. That should be an easy sum. 125 ounces.
125. It looks like it's taped on this.
Oh yeah, it's got the. And
30.
interesting. Oh, there we go. Here comes a certificate.
Very nice.
We're in tubes of 20. So if you want a whole tube and you don't want to run to 20 ounces, you could get 20 1/4 ounces. You get 5 ounces.
Nice. 5 ounce tubes.
These are on really tight. I do like the way they package them. So the Geiger Mint in Germany makes these for Armenia.
All right.
The 1 ounce they sell out every year. They make a maximum mintage of 8 million of the 1 ounce. But these are exactly the same, scaled down.
So if I was to ask you to buy that monster box there, what would you be charging?
These work out just over, so yeah, we're just around $4,000 for a monster box.
Beautiful. And that's good barter size right there. Quarter ounce.
Yeah, and they're a sovereign mint.
And they're actually coins.
Yeah, they're coins, 100 Armenian dram.
Nice. Still using the dram. That's what those in the ancient coins are.
Yeah.
Drams. Oh, interesting. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And please head over to Ian's website at arksgo.com. That's ARKSGO.com. That should pull up his webpage. You'll see his picture right there on the front page. And he's also available by phone at 307-264-9441. So give him a call. Great guy. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below about osmium. That was my first time seeing it in person. Is very impressive. So yeah, hopefully we'll have some more to come on that, but let me know what you think down below. Catch you on the next one.